This video is looking at the two hormones, adrenaline and thyroxine. So we start with looking at adrenaline. So first thing is that adrenaline is produced in the adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands are just at the top of the kidneys. And adrenaline is released in response to stress because it brings about our fight or flight reaction. And our fight or flight reaction makes us ready to get out of danger. It gets us ready for this action because it increases things like our heart rate, and this increases oxygen and glucose supplies. So muscles have oxygen and glucose ready to contract and get us out of danger so that we can move, run, for example. So that's adrenaline. The second hormone we need to know about is a little bit more complicated, and it's called thyroxine. So thyroxine is produced in the thyroid gland. And as you remember from the endocrine system, the thyroid gland is around the throat area. Thyroxine regulates something called the basal metabolic rate, or your BMR. And your BMR is the speed at which your chemical reactions occur when you are at rest. So you're ticking over speed. Now, thyroxine is released in response to something called thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. And this is released from the pituitary gland in the brain. Now, the way that release of thyroxine is controlled, like many hormones, is by something called negative feedback. And the best way to show you negative feedback is using this graph. The first thing to note, look, is that negative feedback returns conditions to normal, okay? And in the case of the example we've got here, it's returning blood thyroxine levels, which you can see here, back to normal. A normal level is shown by this dashed line. So if we start by looking at this point, so blood thyroxine levels start normal, but they go above normal. What happens here, look, the red arrow indicates that we're going above normal, and at around this point, this increase from normal is detected by the brain. So the release of TSH is inhibited. Remember, TSH stimulates the production of thyroxine. So because there's less TSH, thyroxine levels now fall, and we go back to normal. Now, let's look at the other scenario. So thyroxine levels fall below normal. At this point, it's detected by the brain, okay, that the decrease has happened. This time, TSH is released, okay, so we release TSH, and remember, TSH stimulates thyroxine levels to go up, so thyroxine levels rise, and we end up back to normal, okay? And this cycle is negative feedback. So when we go away from the norm, mechanisms kick in to bring it back to normal, whether it's too high or whether it's too low, we always get back to normal level. And this is negative feedback.